Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Mindbody Medicine for chronic pain. This is Sean Hershey, and I am so glad that you are joining me today. Ooh, it is summer, and oh man, I find summer to be so overwhelming. It's like, it is so hot. Oh my God, it's so hot in New York. I, um, I don't know where you are listening from, but I will tell you here it is hot. And so this episode is coming out on July 13th. My birthday is July 15th, which I always think of that as being like right in the middle of the summer, because I think of June, July, and August as being the summer months. And July 15th, that's the middle. So in my brain, we're in the middle of summer. And it's like, I don't know. I just find this time to be like a lot. I feel like I always just kind of like dissociate through my birthday because like these like few weeks, because I'm like, it's just hot and a lot. Um I feel like I have a lot going on. I am like very busy, but at the same time, still somehow feeling like, oh, everybody's having fun without me. Like everybody's having a quote unquote good summer without me. And I'm like, I'm actually having a pretty good summer, but like, uh, you know, and right now, particularly, I feel, um, overwhelmed because I'm like, oh, I mean, right now, I am putting pressure on myself. There are several people in my life who want me to be like doing certain things. And I, as a TMS person, am like, oh, it's a struggle to say no. It is a struggle to honor myself, honor my boundaries. It's a struggle to think that I might make people mad. It's a struggle to think that people might be disappointed in me. It's a struggle to think that people might not like me or I might not please them. And yeah, what is that really about? Me. It is about me. When I'm like, "Oh my god, everybody's overwhelming me. I can't, like, people need to step back and stop expecting so much from me." Why is that happening to me? Hmm? Yes, that is happening to me because of me. That is all me not, I need to be better at setting boundaries, and I need to be better at tolerating the fact that sometimes I'm going to disappoint people, and sometimes people in my life won't like me. And then I can take that to my journal speak and be like, "I don't even fucking like you." You know what I mean? But those of you who know this work, you know that that is just journal speak language for "I love you." Right. You know that. But okay. I'm saying all this to encourage you to think, how are you doing? How are you doing? And what I don't want to be is fake. The whole point of TMS healing is that we are searching for the truth. It doesn't have to be earth shattering. It doesn't have to be a huge revelation. It's just what we're searching for is the truth. And my truth right now I'm sharing with you because I'm encouraging you to think about your truth. What are you really feeling? How is this summer really going for you? If you're listening to this, maybe you're finding this later. It's a different season. How is this season going for you? Because what I would love to say is like, I am my gay therapist. This is my gay summer. I am doing great. But that, I would say I'm doing okay. Yeah, I think that is a more fair way to put it. I am doing okay. The good news is though that my chronic pain is doing pretty good, you know? Of course my IBS is good, it's good, but that's no surprise. I mean that the IBS is has been pretty chill for a very long time. But okay, sharing all that with you just so you know where I'm at and to inspire you to check in with yourself. Don't think that you gotta be perfect. This is not about like, I'm good. How are you? This is about like, the real shit, like how life really is. Okay. let's get into our topic at hand for today. First, I just want to say, if you're interested in weekly therapy, I have some space open, and I'd be happy to meet you, and I'd be happy to be your therapist if you're struggling with chronic pain. You can reach me at my website, mindbodymedicineforchronicpain.com or seanhershey.com. You can very easily schedule or request a consultation with me through the website. So I'd love to meet you. If you're enjoying the podcast, please follow the podcast, rate the podcast, write a written review for the podcast in the podcast app where you listen to it. That would be awesome. And it really helps more people find this stuff, and it helps elevate this stuff. And if you want to follow me on Instagram, I am there at MyGayTherapist. Okay. Today we are talking about body-based TMS treatments. I know, right? Like, how am I recommending this? Because the thesis, the main purpose, the center of chronic pain healing is think psychologically, not physically. If you've listened to this podcast, you already know. Think psychologically, not physically. If you've ever read any of Dr. Sarno's books, you already know. Think psychologically, not physically. Myself and most of the TMS providers out there will always recommend stop the treatments that treat the pain as though there is a structural cause. Yes. Stop the treatments that treat the pain as though there is a structural cause. And today we're going to talk about doing this in the body because, okay, well, let me say this first. I'm like, some of these episodes, what I didn't realize about myself until starting this podcast was like, if you give me a microphone, I can talk for quite some time. Like, these episodes have been long, and I'm like, wow, like the latest ones have all been over an hour, and I'm like, let's try to take the express train through this episode. You know, I want to condense it so that you can like get it and it can land for you quickly, and we're not like wasting your time. Do I think that my previous episodes are a waste of time? Honestly, no. Truly, I think they're good, but I'm like, let's try to tighten it up. Let's tighten this ship up. And the reason I bring that up is because this episode is a really good one to take the express train through, rather than take the local train and stop at every single stop and get out and look around and process. That's good. That's important for your healing. But what we're going to do in this one is take the express train through. And this is a good one to do that with because this is not the core of TMS healing. Body-based treatments are not the core of TMS healing. The core of TMS healing is thinking psychologically, not physically. Then you're doing the three parts. 1, the psychological work. 2, and let me just say the psychological work is teaching your brain and your nervous system that sensations in your body are safe. That's the psychological work. And that includes teaching your brain and your nervous system that pain and symptoms are safe. Part 2, doing the emotional work, which is teaching your brain and your nervous system that emotions are safe and feeling emotions is a safe experience. And then part 3, the work of patiently attuning to your true self. And that is the work of teaching your brain and your nervous system that being you is safe. Just being you is safe, and you can be kind and loving to yourself, and it is safe to be you. So those are the 3 parts. If in season 1, there's a whole deep dive into each of those 3 parts. If this is new for you, by all means, I recommend you go back and start there. But for those of you who get this, let's continue. Those 3 parts are what it means to think psychologically, not physically. And today we are going to talk about the body, because teaching your brain and your nervous system that it is safe to feel physical sensations, you can do that through through the brain, starting in the brain. But you can also do that starting in the body. So today we're going to talk about bringing the psychological work into the body. Very important. When you're healing from chronic pain, it's not so much about what you do. It's about the mindset with which you do it. So if I haven't said it enough, I'm just going to set the mindset again right now. The mindset is always think psychologically, not physically. We're taking care of your nervous system, not your back. We're taking care of your nervous system, not your hip, not your foot, not your fibromyalgia, not your plantar fasciitis, not your shoulder, not your gut, not your microbiome, not your not even the tension in your head. We're taking care of your nervous system because that is the root. That's the etiology for the tension in your head. That's the root for the plantar fasciitis, the gut issues, the back pain, the knee pain. That's the root. So what we're talking about today is taking the psychological work into your body. Mostly what I talk about on this podcast, because it is the most helpful thing for TMS healing, is what would be referred to in the therapy world as a top-down approach to healing. What that means is that it starts in the brain top of your body, and through making changes in your mindset, you bring that healing down into your body. So by healing your brain, you heal the body. That's a top-down approach. What we're talking about today is a bottom-up approach. That means the healing starts in the body and moves up into the brain. Um, and really TMS healing is both. Certainly the psychological work is a top-down healing approach, but the emotional work and patiently attuning to your true self, those could be considered bottom-up approaches. Certainly the way that Nicole Sachs teaches journal speak. And if you're not familiar with her work, I assume you probably are, but if you're not, her book, Mind Your Body, is an excellent resource to learn about the way that she teaches journaling to release chronic pain, which she calls journal speak. That definitely could be considered a bottom-up approach because you're going into the body, feeling your emotions, and in a visceral, guttural way. And in doing so, you're teaching your brain and your nervous system that emotions are safe. And that lesson moves through your body, and it moves up from the body into the brain, and the brain learns that emotions are safe. So, we really talk about top-down and bottom-up approaches to healing. On this podcast and in this world of TMS healing. Mostly it's more of a top-down focus, I would say. I think it's very safe to say that. But today we're talking about bottom up, which means where the healing, the focus of the healing activity is less on the brain and more on the body. Which, of course, is confusing because the main thing is think psychologically, not physically, but we're still going to focus on the body. And as I said, what we're doing is we're treating the nervous system through the body. We talk a lot about treating the nervous system through the brain. Today, we're talking about treating the nervous system through the body. And I know that you can handle that. I get that it's a slightly confusing concept where it's on one hand, you're thinking psychologically, not physically, but on the other hand, it's we're treating the nervous system through the body. I know you're not stupid. Okay. I know that you know what I'm talking about and you can handle this. If it's confusing to you in any way, just rewind, hit the back button several times to get back to this intro and listen to it again if it's confusing to you. But I know you're going to get it. Listen to it once, listen to it twice. You're going to get it. You are smart. You got this. Okay, so we are going to take the express train, like I said, through several different options for how to teach your brain and your nervous system that it is safe to relax and how to calm down your nervous system through body-based interventions. I am going to start with acupuncture. Acupuncture. Remember, it is not so much about what you do, it's about the mindset with which you do it. I have gone to acupuncture several times with a really messed up mindset, and it has not helped me. Before I understood TMS work, I would go to acupuncture for my stomach. I had a whole symptom imperative that was like with my shoulder. I had a lot of pain in my shoulder a couple of years ago. That's one I don't even like think about because that's so over. That was such a like, wow, that was a bad symptom imperative. Thank God that's over. Um, but I went to acupuncture for that, and it was not cheap. This was expensive acupuncture, and I was like, "Oh god, if you could just touch, there's something wrong with something in my shoulder, like, if you can just poke it, like, just get it to, like, chill out, like, just if you could just poke it with a long needle, I think that would fix it." I remember saying that to my acupuncturist, who was looking at me with confusion, kind of like, "How do I tell him that that is not how acupuncture works?" And I remember seeing that look on her face and being like, "God, no," and that just, like, filled me with, like, even more fear, which of course, was even, as we know, the pain, fear, and pain threat cycle. The more fear you have, the worse your pain and your symptoms are going to be because the symptoms and the pain are just a danger signal. So that was really not good for me. But let me tell you this. I had a client who was a TMS client who talks to me about how she would go to acupuncture and just say, like, I have emotions that I need to process. And this client had been through a lot of capital T trauma. And she would go to the acupuncturist and say, like, I have a lot of emotions that I need to process. I have a hard time feeling my emotions. Help me feel. And this acupuncturist would say, "Okay," and she would get on the table. The acupuncturist would put the needles into, whatever. I know nothing about how that works, but into whatever energy lines or whatever points that the acupuncturist would deem as appropriate for the emotional release. And this client told me, like, the acupuncturist would leave, close the door, and she would just sob. She would sob straight for an hour. Then the acupuncturist would come back in and be like, "You good?" And she'd be like, "I think so." And the acupuncturist would take out the points, take out the needles, and the client would go on her way. And she was very confident that this was helpful to her. And she knew that it was really hard for her to feel her emotions, but she knew that, like, when these points were hit in the right way on her body and she was in the safety of the acupuncture room alone, she could really feel. Like, she could really feel. And I'm bringing this to you because I'm saying, what a great way to teach your brain and your nervous system that it is safe to feel emotions. Obviously, journaling is a great way to do that. I'm always recommending that. A great idea. And it would be ridiculous to act as though that's the only thing that'll get you there, because it's not. This would be another great way. So I share that story about acupuncture. And I hope it's clear what I'm saying about, like, it's not so much what you do, it's about the mindset with which you do it. Because you could go to acupuncture like I did several years ago before I knew about chronic pain healing and before I knew about the pain as a danger signal, before I knew about the pain threat cycle. And you can go to acupuncture and be like, please fix my body. They can't do that for you. You can go to acupuncture and be like, please help me with my nervous system. Please help me feel more safe feeling emotions. And they can help you with that. They can help you with that. So there's the first body-based intervention for TMS, acupuncture. All right, cruising right along on to number 2, massage. Massage is something that you can absolutely go into with I'm just gonna say it, the wrong mindset. Wrong mindset. And I know that, in therapeutic speak, people are often like, "This is more helpful, this is less helpful, this is," There is no right or wrong. Let me say, in TMS healing, there is a wrong mindset. Because if you go into these body-based interventions thinking there's something wrong with my body, that's the wrong mindset. It's just not going to help you. It's just not. So you can go into a massage with the wrong mindset, being like, oh, I'm so tense. I'm so stiff. There's something really wrong with my shoulder, like my example. There's something really wrong with my hip, like my ongoing example. Um, you can go in with that mindset, or you can go in with the mindset like, I am stressed. I need some help calming down. But massage is a really nice bottom up intervention, starting with the body and moving up towards the brain to bring that sense of safety into your body, to bring nervous system regulation to your body and brain, starting in your body. I mean, how nice does it feel to just have someone take care of you for an hour or 45 minutes or whatever it may be? How nice does it feel to have somebody else's hands on you taking care of your body? That is good for the nervous system. Don't deny yourself that opportunity just because you're like, I have to think psychologically. I can't think physically. Just do it. If you want to do it, but do it thinking psychologically, not physically, because that is going to help you. Remember, again, it's not so much about what you do, it's about the mindset with which you do it. Okay. Number 3, the third thing I wanna talk about, this is the one that I'm like, this is the real juice." This I'm like, this is the big one." So I, started, probably like 2 months ago, doing this, program called, well, 2 months ago, maybe it's even longer than that. Might be 3 months ago. It's been a little while that I've been doing this. I have been very lightly engaging with this program called Clinical Somatics with Sarah Warren. So I found out about clinical somatics through Meredith Arthur. She's awesome. She's in this world of mind body healing and nervous system regulation and TMS healing. She has a podcast called The Beautiful Voyager, which is awesome. Highly recommend. Subscribe to that. Listen to that. I'm on it, which is cool. You can hear one of me if you're interested. Um, it was through listening to her stuff that I found clinical somatics, because she's a big Sarah Warren fan, and I was like, let me try this for myself, and I like it. I like clinical somatics for myself, which is why I want to talk about it, but I'm a little hesitant to do so because, from a TMS perspective, if you get into this kind of thing, I mean, it's like yoga, it's like massage, it's like acupuncture, it's like any of these interventions that you do where it starts in the body. It is so easy to fall into thinking like, oh, there's something wrong with my body. There's something structurally wrong with my body. I need to fix it. Or even worse, I need someone else to fix it for me, right? All of these body-based interventions, it's so easy to fall into that trap, and that is not where we wanna be. So, the reason that I'm a little hesitant to talk about clinical somatics is because, like, I know it's so easy to fall into that trap with this stuff, and I even have a little bit as I've been doing this process, but I do wanna talk about it with all of you, listening to the podcast, because, it has been helpful to me, and so I don't it's like, I gotta talk about it because it's been helpful to me, and it's clearly helpful to Meredith, who does the same kind of work, so we're gonna talk about it. However, I am making the recommendation, and not even the recommendation, I'm not like, "You have to do this," I'm just saying it's a good option, I think, for people healing from TMS in the same way that massage or acupuncture or yoga or something like that would be a good option for a body-based, treatment. Um, but I am, in quotes, recommending it or saying it's cool. I like it. I think it's a good healing modality. I'm saying that, but I'm also saying if you go down this path, it must be taken with a grain of salt. I want to read this from Sarah Warren's Clinical Somatics website. So she says, Functional musculoskeletal conditions are caused by chronic muscle tension, postural misalignment, and habitual movement patterns. Examples, lower back pain, sciatica, etc. We all know that that's not actually the base cause for lower back pain, sciatica, musculoskeletal conditions, etc. We all know it's not really about chronic muscle tension or postural misalignment or habitual movement patterns. We know that. We know it's about psychological and emotional factors. So like I said, if you get into this stuff, the body-based modalities, you always have to take it with a grain of salt. Always, always, always. Okay, so this is also from the Clinical Somatics website. Most chronic pain, joint degeneration, and recurring injuries are caused by the way we habitually use our bodies. Our nervous system tells us which muscles to contract, when to release them, how to stand, and how to move. Clinical somatics is a specialized movement technique that engages the nervous system in an active learning process. The exercises teach the nervous system how to release chronic muscle tension and stand and move in natural, efficient ways so that you aren't putting yourself in pain or doing any damage to your body. I feel like we could pick that paragraph apart for like a full hour. But like I said, we're on the express train through this. we're not taking the local. There's a lot to say there. Yes, let's work with the nervous system and teach the nervous system how to release. Teach the muscles in the body to release and to relax. And in turn, that relaxes the nervous system, because when your body is relaxed, you're telling your brain that you're safe. You're telling your nervous system that you're safe. When your body is tensed, you're telling your brain and your nervous system that there is a threat. That is a danger signal. And we all know pain and symptoms are danger signals. Let me just make this very clear. I know you already know this, but I'm going, let's go deep into your brain and get this message deep in there. Chronic pain is not coming from the way you habitually misuse your body. It's not. If you have TMS, you're listening to this podcast to recover, and we know your chronic pain, just like mine, is coming from psychological and emotional factors, just like mine. Psychological and emotional factors do cause tension in your body. Like, trauma and emotions are held in the body. And it's really nice to have a method to release that tension. And in doing so, when you release tension in your body, you're communicating to both the body and the brain that you are safe. Doing this stuff, like clinical somatics is the one I'm talking about now, but any of it, doing massage, doing acupuncture, doing yoga, the other stuff we're going to talk about, all of this is taking the psychological work into the body. If you're doing it with the mindset of think psychologically, not physically, you're taking this work into the body. And what a nice thing to do for yourself. This stuff is for those of us, and I'm one of them, who hold a lot of physical tension in our body. I just want to do a little explanation of this, because I think it's really cool, and I've just really I don't know, I've gotten a lot out of it, and it's been fun for me. And I'm sure it's been helpful to me. I feel like, especially with my hip. The idea is that clinical somatics, it's a process to help you release tension from your body. A constantly tense body is a body that feels like braced for danger. So we want to relax through that physical tension and teach the brain that, it's safe. It is safe. That sends messages of safety to the nervous system, and that, as you know, that will alleviate the chronic pain. There are people who recover from chronic pain and they go back to like their old chiropractor, and the old chiropractor is still like, wow, you are so tense, like still, and they have no pain. So like that is definitely a thing. I've heard that from a few different people. So what that means is that clearly the top down approaches work, like changing the mindset, um that alleviates the pain. But we can also do bottom up work, like relaxing the body to relax the mind is still on the table. So okay, I just want to briefly say a little bit about this. The idea with clinical somatics is what's called pendiculation. Pendiculation is when you, like, tense your muscles, like, engage them, and then you release them, and that allows your muscles to release more fully. I mean, it's really quite simple. It's like tension and relaxation. It's like, I mean, it's like nature's, like, natural, intuitive way to release muscle tension. It's like the natural thing you do when you yawn, you yawn and stretch in the morning and like it's like a different it's not stretching like what you would think of as like stretching to like gain flexibility. It's like stretching is like I'm like doing it right now. It's like stretching your arms out, tensing up your arms. I'm like tensing up my back and then like whew, you release it. That is called pandiculation. You see animals do that, like dogs and cats do that when they stretch. That is pandiculation. And so clinical somatics is based on pandiculation. The idea is like you go through and systematically like tense your lower back, slowly release your lower back. Then like push your hips forward and tense up that way, and then slowly release. And the idea is from there, you really, really release a lot more than if you had not done the pandiculation. It's like tension, then release, and you'll release more versus just like laying there and being like, let me just relax. That the idea is you start with the tension and then you do the relaxation, and you'll release a lot more. And I think it's true. I mean, in my life, I think it's been true for me. Your body feels safer when it's not holding on to so much tension and when it's not braced for danger. When your body feels safe, the need for a danger signal goes down, and then the pain and symptoms go down. Of course, there's the danger that doing something physical like this, like, clinical somatics with Sarah Warren, that will trigger doubt in the mind body process, which is why I'm like, maybe I shouldn't even bring it up. But I'm like, I am bringing it up because you understand. I know you're smart enough to understand. I trust. I trust you. Like I trust the audience of this podcast. I trust you. I know that you'll experience a lot of doubt. I know that. I know this process will be hard for you. I know that. But I know you're not stupid. I know that. I know that for sure. I know I know that. I know that. So I know that all the doubts that you have, you can handle them. You can. Okay. One of the cool things about doing this kind of work is that you can ask yourself, like, why? Why so much tension in my body? Why do I make my body small or like curl up into myself? Why do I hold on to so much physical tension? Why are my shoulders so like so close to my ears, just like tight, tight, tight? Why? Why is my gut like being held in all the time? Why? I'll tell you why. Because of trauma and your emotional life. That is why. That's what's at the base of this. We're thinking psychologically, not physically for a reason. Our bodies don't just like have things wrong with them. It's not just like there's structurally issues with our bodies. That's not what TMS is. TMS is you have tension in your body because of trauma and because of your emotional life. And that's the case for most people, right? I mean, of course, not everything is TMS. Sometimes there are structural abnormalities in your body that need to be addressed. Sure, of course, that's true. But most chronic pain is TMS. And that means most chronic pain is coming from trauma and the emotional life. And of course, then the psychological fears and factors that reinforce the pain threat cycle. Emotions are the genesis. Emotions are the genesis. I just want to say this briefly. When I started clinical somatics for myself, the first day I did it, I was like, wow, it's just like a very simple move. You literally lay on your back and it's like tense up your back by like arching just a little and then release, and then curl up into yourself just a little, and then release. And that is it. You just do that a few times. It's literally like you might not even know that you're moving if you were to just see it. It's such a subtle movement. But I will tell you, like, I experienced like it was nuts. That night, the night that I first started it, I got, like, quite sick, and it was, like, the kinda sick where I was like, I couldn't sleep. I was having, like, weird sort of fever dreams, even though I definitely did not have a fever. I took my temperature a few times because I was like, what's sick?" Like, I must have a fever. Did not have a fever. I was like felt nauseous, felt like I was gonna vomit. I had we talk about everything on this podcast. I had explosive diarrhea for like literally like 3 days after just like a simple, tense and relax your back. And I was like, what is going on? Um, and I don't know. I don't know. It is possible that I came down with some bizarre sickness on like the same day that I started this. That is possible. But I was also just like Googling around like, can relaxation cause nausea and sickness and diarrhea? And I just want to read this because I'm like, wow, maybe this happened to me. Okay, so can relaxation cause nausea and diarrhea? The AI overview from Google. No, relaxation itself doesn't cause nausea or diarrhea. However, the release of tension and stress during relaxation can lead to these symptoms, especially if the body has been holding on to or has been holding them in due to anxiety or nervousness. This is because stress hormones, which can affect the digestive system, are released when the body experiences a stressful event or period. When relaxation occurs, the body's compensatory, I hope I'm saying that right, I believe that's correct. The body's compensatory responses can lead to the release of previously suppressed digestive activity, resulting in temporary symptoms like nausea, diarrhea, or even a sudden urge to use the restroom. Well, let me tell you, I certainly had nausea, diarrhea, and I definitely had a couple of sudden urges to use the restroom. Um, so maybe, maybe. I don't know. I mean, I just like got a weird sickness, but I'm like, that would track. I was holding a lot of tension in my body, and that would track. So I just want to share that because I had a pretty like out there experience with this, and I still do it a little bit. Well, yeah. I mean, this is definitely for me. This has become a body based intervention for the nervous system and for TMS that I have gotten into. Okay, so if you're interested in that, I must say do it with a grain of salt. I like I said, I'm not even really recommending this. I'm just giving it as an option. Take it with a grain of salt. The website is somaticmovementcenter.com. I endorse it. I think it's a good way to take the psychological work into your body and help your body relax and feel safe, but I endorse it with a grain of salt. Okay. Cruising right along. We don't want to take too long. Oh my God. This is going to end up being like an hour. Somebody stop me. Somebody take the microphone out of Sean Hershey's hand and shut him up. But there's so much to say. I can't stop. Okay. We're just going to cruise through a few more. We're just going to cruise through a few more. Okay. As I mentioned, another great way to take the psychological work into the body is yoga. A great way to calm the body down. Again, remember, It's not so much about what you do, it's about the mindset with which you do it. Because yoga is something I love to do. I am super pushy with myself. I force myself to do way more than is, nice and kind to myself. One thing Nicole Sachs always talks about, patience and kindness for yourself. That is something I struggle with. What I talk about, like attuning to your true self wants to chill the fuck out sometimes. And yoga for me, I can be pushy and hard with myself, and like for me, sometimes I do it kind of like a workout where it's like putting yourself through the goddamn paces. Like, no, that is not what we're doing here. Remember, there's the wrong mindset and there's the right mindset. The mindset is so important. Do it with the mindset. If you're going to do yoga as a body-based intervention for teaching your brain and your nervous system that it's safe to be in your body and that you can relax your body, then you do it with the mindset of safety and relaxation, right? Yes. Okay. The fifth thing I want to talk about, this is a funny one, but I'm like, let's go there because like, why not? Cannabis. I will say cannabis is fully legal in the state of New York. So where I'm at, I'm not doing anything that's below board. Okay. This is all good. Um, I'm not someone who enjoys getting high really that much. Like I've always been one to be like, getting paranoid and overwhelmed. I don't know how some people like conduct themselves like fully functional human beings when they're like stoned out of their mind, because that is literally not an option for me. But I will say that and I have not in this way experimented with like psychedelics in sort of like the mental health sphere. But I have a little weed tincture that you can literally get full it's nuts that like the world is like this now. You can just like go to a store. I was literally on like it was like nyc.gov / like where to buy cannabis products. I was like, whoa, I feel old because I just remember an era where this would be so deeply not on a government website. But yeah, I got this, little tincture at a cute little cannabis store, literally licensed by the government in New York City. And I have found I have done some, just like when I have a night to myself, I'm like, let me just use some of this with the same intention that what I'm thinking of is channeling up like what I want to say to you is the idea of channeling that client who goes into the acupuncture sits on the acupuncture table, lays down and says, I am here to feel my emotions. I have done little, marijuana experiences for myself where I have gone into it being like, I am here to feel my emotions and to heal from chronic pain. And truly, yo, I feel like I've like gone on walks just by myself where I'm like making connections, getting existential, drawing parallels, having epiphanies, and I'm like, oh my God, I'm understanding this on a deeper level. And it sounds a little nuts, but like I feel like it's been helpful to me. And it's been a nice way, again, a body-based experience to do the psychological work, to take the psychological work, excuse me, into the body. This has been a nice way for me to do that. And none of this is anything that I recommend to everybody to do, but if you're interested, give it a try. Generally, again, mindset. It's not so much about what you do, it's about the mindset with which you do it. So that brings me to the last point. I want you to reflect on what are you thinking? As you're hearing me talk about all these different ideas for how to um, take the psychological work into the body and these different ideas for like teaching the brain and the nervous system that you can relax and that it is safe to feel sensations in your body. That's number one. Number 2, B, it is safe to feel your emotions. And 3, C, since we're doing letters and numbers, to teach your brain and your nervous system that it is safe to be you. How do you bring that into your body? What ideas do you have? Because there actually may be things that you are already doing that you could use in this capacity. You know, it's all about the mindset. For me, yoga is something I've been doing forever, and that's something still to this day, I could definitely be doing yoga with more of a mindset of, like, peace, flow, generosity towards self, safety towards self. That's a great way. That would be I'm like lecturing myself. I'm like, "That would be great, Sean. You should really fucking consider doing that." And so I wanna extend this invitation to you. What do you wanna lecture yourself on? You know? What do you wanna invite yourself to do? What are you already doing in your life that if you flipped the mindset a little bit, it could become a body-based treatment for TMS? That's one thing. The other thing is, what would you want to do? And, we don't wanna make this like a grueling, it's not like you have to do everything on the list and then some, but do what feels right to you. Tune in with you. What of the things that I mentioned feels like it might be a nice idea for you? Like, "Oh, damn, I connect to that. Maybe I should try that. Maybe that would be a good body-based intervention for TMS for me." You know? That is what I wanna leave you with today, is reflect on your life, reflect on what you like, what you don't like. Also importantly, I think reflect on what you think might be triggering, like what might trigger a lot of doubt for you. Because I wouldn't start there. I really would not start there. So think about what might trigger a lot of doubt for you, and okay, you can stay out of that if you know that it might be, it might derail you a little bit. Like, we don't want that. But what might not trigger you? What might feel like a nice way to just bring the sense of safety into your body and start in the body as a bottom up intervention? I encourage you to reflect on that. Maybe do some journaling on that. Just notice what comes up. Just notice. Because, of course, the main thing always, 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 always is think psychologically, not physically. But I know that you are smart enough to understand that some of these interventions can start in the body. And you can teach your brain and your nervous system that life is safe starting in the body as well as starting in the brain. Okay, wow. We are under an hour, so I'm going to shut up right now. And I hope that you got something out of this. And like I said, if you're interested in weekly one-on-one individual therapy, by all means, I'm here, and I would love to get to know you, and I'd be happy to be your therapist. You can reach out to me through my website, mindbodymedicineforchronicpain.com or seanhershey.com. Also, if you are enjoying the podcast, please rate, follow, review, heart, 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 love, 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 check, 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 all three. Um, and then the third thing, if you want to follow me on Instagram, I am there at mygaytherapist. Okay. Wishing you the best. I hope you're having, I'm not even going to say I hope you're having a great summer, because that's so much pressure. I hope you're having I hope everything is unfolding exactly as it's unfolding, and I hope that you are able to be real with yourself, however you're feeling, that you can just feel it and be okay with it. I hope that for you, and I hope that for me. Okay, this has been super fun, and I will see you next week.